So let's summarize what we have seen in today's lecture. What we've talked about is various things that are happening in the current business climate in terms of what's happening globally. We saw things such as competition, globalization, customer preferences, technology, government regulations, uncertainty, and so on. The focus or the end result of all of this is greater pressure on organizations to be more responsive and efficient when it comes to customers. Manufacturers of any kind need to be able to meet varied demand because the customer base is becoming broader, and you need to do it while still controlling costs, because if you don't, somebody else will, and that person or that organization will take your customer from you. We saw how lean grew as a response to meet the requirements of a demanding customer, where the US production system had basically developed more from a producer standpoint rather than from a customer standpoint, and the lean had its basis on the customer, or had its focus on the customer, and it was the third step in the evolution from craft manufacturing and mass manufacturing, as we saw. What we also saw when we talked about craft manufacturing was that the craftsman was somebody who was relatively close to the customer, where there was a lot of interaction and the customer came and told the craftsman exactly what he or she wanted. But it had the problem of lack of standardization. It had long lead times, it had a high cost, there was no consistency in quality, and mass manufacturing brought about a big change from craft manufacturing, where we saw standardization of parts, interchangeability of parts, we saw standardization of processes, and tremendous increase in productivity, which resulted in a lower product cost. But it came at a cost of separating the customer from the producer, and the customer was taken out of the equation to a great extent in mass manufacturing, and also the worker got alienated from the actual product, because now instead of producing a product, the worker was doing a particular task, okay, and the task became repetitive, and the actual the involvement of the worker in his job or task was reduced. What we saw is that lean manufacturing, and we will be seeing that through this entire course, it sort of brings a lot of the benefits of craft and mass manufacturing together, because from the standpoint of efficiency, lean has a lot of the efficiencies of mass manufacturing, including standardization, including greater productivity, but at the same time it has some of the elements of craft manufacturing, because it tries to give the worker greater satisfaction in the job, and it tries to give the customer a greater say in terms of what he or she wants, and it's something which has proven to be a very successful advent or a successful development, I should say, in the current manufacturing systems that are in place. One of the things that we have to understand is the term lean is not something that Toyota used earlier, but of late Toyota has been, since the 1990s, they do use the term lean for what they have been using in their production system. But unlike a lot of other companies which have been jumping from one fad to another, going from TQM to TPM to lean to whatever else that they could people can put their hands on, Toyota has been very consistent. They have fine-tuned and evolved their system, but they've been using the Toyota production system or lean since the 1950s and 60s, and they continue to use them. to use the same system, but it's not exactly the same system, because as they learn, they evolve and they improve. And we will see how this system has been developed, what are the components of the system, what do we need to make this work in a variety of different situations, and that will be really part of this course. So with that, I bid you a very good evening or a very good day, and we'll see you the next time.